The WNBA has bigger problems than one may believe. Nneka Ogwumike signs with Project B. ESPN reports the story. And the WNBA, I don't quite get it. I have two players, Collier and Ogwumike, are representing the players, but it doesn't look like they're representing the players. Here's what you got, folks, and I want to walk you through this. I'm shocked. Former WNBA player Nneka Ogwumike has signed a contract with Project B, the first player who is known to have joined the Professional Women's Basketball League ahead of play expected to begin in Europe and Asia, November of 2026. Ogwumike, like other players in the league, will get an undisclosed salary and an equity stake. Project B officials have said 66 players who they want for their league. Folks, this is a double this one here, it's a double whammy and an embarrassing moment. 66 players, and here's my concern. Ogwumike was not allowed to go to Nigeria, kicked out of there. Ogwumike was representing the WNBA players, but the only problem I have with this, there's 150 players in the league. And of course, you've got a player in Collier. It looks like they're not representing the players, they're representing themselves. And this has become quite evident, folks, that this is something that you would not expect. I don't know where the WNBA goes from these negotiations and what are they going to do and how are they going to do it. But to just bring it home, here's what you got. The 11 Project B officials had said 66 players who they want for the league. The format calls for 6 teams, 11 women each, will receive larger salaries than those currently offered by the WNBA. They are also expected to be higher than those salaries offered by Unrivaled on the 3-on-3 league, which features many of the top WNBA players. While financial specifics have not been disclosed, the potential of more lucrative compensation comes at an important moment for women's professional basketball. As interest in the sport has soared in recent years, the WNBA Players Union are locked in tense negotiations over a new collective bargaining agreement, with much of the dispute centered on salary. Folks, this is unbelievable. I couldn't make this up. And here's what I got. You got Project B. You got a representative who's representing the players in a negotiation with the WNBA. But that's not the case. She's not representing the players because only 66 players can go into Project B. She has signed with Project B, which is going to compete with Unrivaled, going to compete with Athletic Unlimited, which is another league, and is going to compete with the WNBA. This is the most bizarre situation that I've ever seen. And it's almost like the women are not in unity. They are not in unity here. And let me tell you why. You got Collier's doing one thing, you got Ogwumike's doing another thing. You got players in the WNBA who they are making unilateral decisions. And it was brought up when they brought up Caitlin Clark's name. They're not even letting players know. This is not, folks, this is some, I don't even know if this is legal. That's the first thing I'm going to tell you. I don't know if this is legal, if they're violating any of the laws, because they're not negotiating in equitable terms. They're actually basically going to the WNBA, negotiating as they're pretending to negotiate a contract for the players, but they're not negotiating that contract for the players. What they're doing is taking the information that is being in a CBA negotiation and taking that over to Project B and saying, here's what they're going to pay the players and here's what we can do. And this is, I have never, ever seen this in my life, where a situation where you have representatives who have represented this league. And it's very peculiar to me because the WNBA players started on the leadership of Kathy Engelbert. That was false, folks. That was a ploy to get something out there, but they have their own agenda. Ogwumike has their own agenda. Collier for Unrivaled has their own agenda. You've got all these players sitting here with their own agenda claiming They're representing the players of the WNBA, which you have 150 players who are also representing the players who are about to be drafted into the WNBA. Folks, I've never, ever seen anything like this. And I'm shocked. I'm shocked that the president of the Players Association, who is sitting there, is now saying that I'm going to go over and I'm going to start a brand new league that competes with the WNBA. Folks, this can't be true. And if the thing that concerns me is there's players in the WNBA that are not involved and are not interested in going overseas. There's players in the WNBA that would just like to come to work and go to work and not be caught up in all this extra, whatever you want to call it, because it's not a negotiation. They're not negotiating in the best interest of the players. What they're doing is negotiating in the best interest of themselves, and they're completely divided because the two members with the conflict of interest have destroyed the negotiation. Folks, in litigation, this would be a mistrial. This would be a mistrial. This would be a mistrial because the people, the attorneys who are representing the players and are supposed to do it in an equitable fashion, and they're not doing it. They're withholding information from WNBA players, and now the WNBA players are going to be 100% divided because now it's whoever gets in the sorority of Project B. It's not for the players who are in the WNBA. Adam Silver's got a problem. Kathy Engelbert's got a problem, and this is going to really shut the labor negotiation down. Folks, you got a lot of bad apples that are swimming around in the bucket, and they are scorned, hurt, whatever you want to call it. But you got a lot of rookies, the first and second year players. They shouldn't even be involved in this. And it should come down to the WNBA and Adam Silver really just expressing those who want to be in the WNBA should be in the WNBA, and those who don't want to be in the WNBA need to be out of the WNBA because this is not what the league is about, and they have misrepresented and they have really falsified as being in an unequitable position for the players who are not even informed of what's going on. No one knows where they are in the negotiation. No one knows what was said. No one knows what is being told. They're unilaterally negotiating. They're acting as if they're negotiating for the players, and they're not. Folks, this is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. I can tell you I've never seen anything like this. Can you imagine in the NFL if the player representatives who are negotiating and representing and bringing the information back to the NFL players and those who are in negotiation with that they would be trying to join the USFL or another football league when they're representing the 1,600 players. That's exactly what these women are doing. You're not unified on this negotiation. This would never happen in Major League Baseball at all. It's impossible. I've never seen anything like this in my life where you take the lives of individuals who are younger than you. Every one of these individuals who is manipulating this system is over 30 years old. They're not negotiating for the future of the players. They're negotiating for the money they can put in your pocket. And unless it comes back something different, folks, this is a big mess of how did you allow the leadership, or did they strong arm and take the leadership, or were they voted in? Because right now you need to revote, you need to recalibrate, and those who want to be in the WNBA, who have earned the privilege and would like to stay in the WNBA, would like to play basketball in the United States, should have a fair opportunity to do so, and should have a fair vote on what they want to do. For those of you who want to make extra money and go all over the world, you got an excellent opportunity to do it. But folks, this one here, I don't get it. I don't even know how the WNBA owners continued negotiating with good faith with these individuals. These individuals, 66 players. Project B is not 150 players. Unrivaled is not 150 players. What are they going to do for the players that get left out and don't get chosen? That's the question. Here's what I foresee is going to happen, and I could be dead wrong, and it's not going to be the first time, and you guys can light me up for it. I think the WNBA is going to say those who want to play in the WNBA, when we get to the lockout, come on over and admit you want to play in the WNBA. You can cross over. No one's holding you because your leadership failed you. That's what happened. The leadership failed you. I can't believe Gwen Jackson is sitting at the head of the table in a negotiation with NBA owners, and these guys are undercutting and actually taking the proprietary information that's been sealed. It's almost like espionage. It's like they're taking this and saying, hey, we're in negotiation. This is what they're offering. This is what's going on. The public doesn't know. And this right here is a violation of public trust. If you're in litigation right now, the judge would just say, guys, this is a mistrial. There's no way I can continue this because they're not doing it in an ethical way. And there's no equity and justice for the other players in the league who are being misled. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. This story is going to open up. We'll see where it goes. Folks, I have never seen this. And only in the WNBA would you ever think of doing something like this. Major League Baseball, there's no way. These guys would be throwing punches behind the dugout. And if the NFL players knew that they were getting sold out in the middle of a negotiation, folks, it would be a lot of violence because people are putting their jobs on the line, their families on the line. And there are some players in the WNBA that just want to play in the WNBA. They should have that opportunity and shouldn't be under the chokehold where all of a sudden now you're joining another league that's competing directly and you've signed a contract and others have signed a contract. Folks, this is getting messier by the minute and the women are divided